Hi everyone, now let's start the next session on compilers, which is the chapter on symbol tables. Now what exactly we mean by a symbol table? The compiler needs to collect and use the information about the names appearing in your source program. I repeat, compiler needs to collect and use the information about the names which are appearing in your source program. This information is entered into a data structure called a symbol table. Okay, so information collected about a name includes the string of characters by which it is denoted by its type, its form, its location in the memory, and other attributes which are depending on the language. So each entry in the symbol table is a pair of the form name comma information. Each time a name is encountered, the symbol table is searched to see whether that name has been seen previously. If the name is new, it is entered into the symbol table. Okay. So the contents of the symbol table are as follows. We need to be able to determine whether the given name is in the symbol table. We should be able to add a new name to the table. We also need to be able to access the information which is associated with a given name. We should also be able to add new information for a given name. And also we should have a capability of deleting a name or a group of names from the table. Okay. So issue is the speed with which an entry can be made or accessed. So if we use a linear list, it is slow to access but simple to implement. If we use a hash table, it is fast but it's more complex. So the tree structures, if we use, it give intermediate performance. So if you use a linear list, it is slow to access but it's simple to implement. Hash table is fast but it's more complex to implement. And if you use tree structures, it gives intermediate performance. Data that can be associated with a name in a symbol table includes following: the string of characters denoting the name. If the same identifier can be used in more than one block or a procedure, then an indication of which block or procedure this name belongs to also must be given. I repeat, the data that can be associated with a name in a symbol table includes following. Okay, the string of characters denoting the name. It should include string of characters denoting the name. If the same identifier can be used in more than one block or a procedure, then an indication of which block or a procedure this name belongs to also must be given. Second important information that needs to be associated with symbol table is attributes of the name, and also the information identifying what use is being made of the name. Okay. Third thing is parameters such as number of dimensions of the array and upper and lower limits along each dimension also can be specified. And fourth is an offset describing the position in the storage to be allocated for the name. Okay. So all this information must be given for a name associated with a symbol table. Okay. The next concept that we are going to learn is reusing symbol table space. So identifier which is used by the programmer to denote a particular name must be preserved in the symbol table until no further references to that identifier can possibly denote the same name. This is essential so that all uses of the identifier can be associated with the same symbol table entry and hence the same name. Compiler can be designed to run in less space if the space used to store identifiers can be reused in subsequent passes. Okay. So what are the different data structures which could be used while creating a symbol table? First is list. We use single array or equivalently several arrays to store the names and their associated information. New names are added to the list in the order in which they are encountered. To retrieve the information about a name, we search from the beginning of the array up to a position which is marked by a pointer available, which indicates the beginning of empty portion of the array. When a name is located, the associated information can be found in the words following next. Okay. To insert a new name, we must scan down the list to be sure it is not already there. If it is not already there, we store the new name in the words immediately following available pointer, because that's the first location which is available for entry, right? And increase that pointer by the width of the symbol table record that we have just added, so that for the next entry we can insert the new element there. So available is just a pointer telling us which is the next location which is available for the entry. If the symbol table containing n names, the work necessary to insert a new name is proportional to n if we use list data structure, right? To find data about a name, we shall on an average search n divided by 2 names. So despite the quadratic growth of bookkeeping cost with program size, a linear list is useful in compilers in which small jobs dominate the mix of compiled programs. One advantage of the list organization is that the minimum possible space is taken. Okay. So the next data structure which we can use for symbol tables is self-organizing lists. Here the cost of little extra space, we can use a trick that will often save substantial fraction of time spent in searching the symbol table. So here there is a little cost of this extra space that we are using, but we are definitely saving on the substantial fraction of time that we spend in searching the symbol table entry. Here we add a link field to each record, and we search the list in the order indicated by the links. We just don't go blindly searching this the next locations, but here we follow the link pointer. Okay, first is a pointer that we introduce. We introduce a pointer called first, which gives the position of the first record on the linked list, and each record is having a link field which indicates the next record in the list. I repeat, we introduce a new pointer called first which lets us know the first record in the list, and the link field in each record tells us which is the next node that we are supposed to visit. Okay, so when a name is referenced or its record is first created, we move the record for that name to the front of the list by moving the pointers. Okay, so we move it to the front of the list by moving the pointer. So that's why I said it is a self-organizing list. So motivation for using the self-organizing list is that the names which are referenced frequently will tend to be at the front of the list, because we ourselves are self-organizing the list. If it is accessed, then we get it to the front of the list. So the motivation for using the self-organizing list is that the names which are referenced frequently will be at the front of the list, where they will be found very quickly. If a small set of names is heavily used in a small section of the program, these names will rise on the top, while other sections that is being used very little are going to be at the back. This organization adapts itself in response to local usage. If references are random, this method will cost time and space. time saving will result on an average. The next data structure that we could use for symbol table is search trees. Okay, so here two link fields are kept, left pointer and right pointer. So in search trees we have two link pointers, two link fields, left and right, to each record. We use these fields to link the records into binary search tree. This tree has the property that all names accessible from name of I by following the link left I and then following any sequence of links will precede name I in alphabetical order. So it is basically the normal search tree algorithm that we are using here. Okay. The next data structure that we could use is a hash table. It gives us capability of performing m accesses on n names in a time which is proportional to n into m plus n divided by k for any constant k. Now this method is superior to linear list or search trees and is a method of choice for symbol table if storage is not costly. So these were the four different data structures that we could use for symbol tables. So in my next session on compilers, I will start with the next chapter on compilers, that is code optimization. Thank you.